everybody. Welcome to Talk 40 to Me. I'm Angelina.
And I'm Brandy, and this is our new YouTube channel.
Welcome. And we have with us Erin Campbell from GenZ Brands. And
Hello,
Erin,
ladies.
and fun fact, Erin was our very first guest on the podcast.
Crazy.
And
Crazy.
so if y'all haven't listened yet, head to talk40tomepodcast.com, find your streaming platform. But Erin is basically a genius, and especially in all things generational. We love her. Erin comes from a background as senior vice president of shopper strategy and digital media. She's led tons of executives on the millennial generation, and she's responsible for teaching about the Gen Z consumer base. She's got a BA in journalism, an obsession a little bit with The Office, also because she's a millennial, doing burpees in a heated workout studio. And she's constantly pushing herself out of her comfort zone and is unashamed to ask for what she needs to succeed. So welcome, Erin.
Thank you.
That was you in like 20 seconds, but there's so much more.
Oh, gosh. Yes, but you did a great job. And to be clear, that skill set of being comfortable and asking for what I need and want was a learned and is still a challenging skill set to have to grasp. As we turn 40, just becomes more of a necessity, and we care less about what people think, don't we, ladies?
100%. Erin, tell us a little bit about GenZ Brands.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did work on the agency side, which is what you just briefed initially for much of my career. And then I had this almost Cinderella opportunity to go partake in developing a brand and a business from scratch. And when you don't live in New York and you're not part of Silicon Valley and you get this opportunity, you say, heck yeah. And so I had just a really great privilege to see from the very bottom how you brand a consumer product, a consumer packaged goods brand. And it was actually in a really exciting category of bottled water. I know, you guys are so jealous of me, but we really discovered that everyone is doing that category in the same way, talking same product benefit, talking to the same aspirational curated lifestyle millennial. And no one was really breaking any rules, ruffling any feathers, or disrupting that category, especially with this upcoming generation. So we decided to do it like nobody else, no other brand is doing it. We call ourselves Gen Z, really ironically, acknowledging that they're the most marketed to generation in the world, knowing that they can see through the marketing BS. And so why play the games that the rest of the brands are playing? And we're just going to call it like it is. And that was really rooted off of my understanding of the generational differences. I think there's a lot of misconception that Gen Z are like the millennials, maybe on steroids, and that really couldn't be farther from the truth. They just have had some key contextual events in their life that has defined them, and then tools and resources like TikTok that, even if they mirror some of our lifestyle opinions when we were in our young 20s, we were not mobilized in the same way. So they're just having a much greater impact and scale on the planet, on the culture, on politics than any other generation has had before. And I mean, and it's honestly, if all I do when I talk to people about Gen Z is provide them a little perspective, provide them a little optimism, give them a little idea that Gen Z is really a amazing generation, and then I truly have faith that they're going to change some things that in our world that have long needed to be changed. That we ourselves as millennials knew that working 50 hours a week and giving a third of our life to a career or an organization that didn't value us as much as we were giving to them. We knew that. And as millennials in our hearts, Gen Z are just doing something about it.
That's really interesting. And it was fascinating. One, it's fascinating and fun to watch, your brand's TikTok. Mm-hmm. But for the audience here who may have never heard of Talk 40 to Me, may have not heard our podcast, You were in two of our episodes. One of them was episode 2, WTF as a Geriatric Millennial, where we talk about us being these cuspers, and now we're called geriatric millennials, which is just horrendous. But in episode 7, going back to this very conversation, we have an episode called the Millennial Gen Z Showdown, and we interviewed a handful of Gen Zers, cusper Gen Zers, all the way down to like 18-year-olds. 17, 18-year-olds, just to better understand. Like, we kind of quiz them on millennial stuff, like what happened in the 90s and different little things. So we kind of poked fun at ourselves, but at the same time, then we got a little bit more serious to better understand, what is their mindset, and kind of dive into that, because they are our future. That said, it's really fascinating to hear that they all share the same sentiments. They believe in being more open-minded, supportive of each other, and also having a little bit more freedom in the workplace. We talked about life, we talked about career, we talked about perspective, perception that they feel that other generations have on them.
Generational studies on its own is a really creates like a tension point. I mean, you're having to create these generalizations about kind of a swath of 15 years, a group of people. But at the same time, it requires us to challenge some of our assumptions that we have, especially the ones that we're deeming are the kids, the ones that are in high school and in college, and they haven't lived enough life to truly understand. But guess what? Gen Z has lived a lot of life. 2 economic recessions, a global pandemic, our climate is under attack. There's war overseas. I mean, they've lived so much, and they've been able to thrive is probably a word they would not use to explain, but survive in a way that everything hasn't crumbled, and that we can be effective when we're not in an office, that we were thrown in to each other or to our respective homes because of a lockdown, and the economy didn't fully collapse. And it also allowed us to slow down and see that maybe things are more important and more valuable than our career. And we may feel the same way, but we have a 15, 20-year muscle memory that is telling us otherwise, that they don't have to break. So they're coming into the workplace saying, a balance is a must. I know I can work somewhere other than in an office and a cube and be maybe even more productive. And I need something that, if I'm going to give my time, has to feel fulfilling and value-led for them as an individual, a society beyond just the organization. So I actually think they have some really progressive, brave, healthy thoughts that they've just been vocal about saying, that we have been feeling probably since we were their age.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about why discussing generations is important to us as we're embarking in our 40s.
Well, I'm hoping that as we understand generational differences, we seek empathy and unity, that actually, us as being some of the oldest millennials, or the youngest Gen X, depending on where you start to lean more on that spectrum, that we kind of rewrite some of those generational toxic patterns, and have an opportunity to come together with these generations and take our experience and the wisdom and those bumps and bruises that we have learned painfully from, and bring that to the table with these fresh new ideas, innovation, that Gen Z, because they are ready to learn from us. And if we're ready to collaborate and listen, I mean, especially let's do it for the girls. Let's change the world if we can change that mentality.
I think that's a great sentiment, because Brandy and I have talked about how it took women into their 40s to feel the confidence, the level of confidence that many men had the majority of their careers. So if we in our 40s can embrace that and take some of these younger generationals under our wing, think about how much sooner they can come into their own compared to, where we were.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think that in a way they're being parented differently.
For sure.
No, I do. I think we talked about on the episode, we are the first generation that is learning how to parent, is learning how to age so visibly on social media. So we will begin to set the stage of what that benchmark looks like. And then that Gen Z can either accept or reject. So, it is a big opportunity for us. Are we going to be honest about the struggles of aging and feeling how, society can cast us out? Are we going to not let society cast us out? Are we going to be open about, I think we talked about this on the podcast about our cosmetic enhancements to reject aging. And I mean, that will all set the stage for how Gen Z is allowed to become 40, because they can make fun of our side part and our skinny jeans as much as they want, but the alternative to aging is death. So
look, I have skinny jeans on today.
Me too.
Skinny jeans and a side part. I'm here for it.
I can't get rid of my side part. Look, I tried.
I did too. I don't like the way it looks. I try and I go, ugh.
I love a middle part. I've embraced
the middle part looks great on you.
I mean,
it works for you.
Yes. And that's it. That's the thing. Do what works for you and what makes you feel good. And then,
like Botox. Botox makes me feel good. Speaking of cosmetic enhancement.
My best.
My level of surprise.
Right. It's like not fully there. Yeah, I gotcha. But that's new. You are just breaking you're paradigm shifting right there, because Gen X and boomers, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it.
So if you guys enjoyed listening to us decipher all the ins and outs of the generational differences, we don't have one, but 2 episodes with the lovely Miss Erin Campbell breaking apart these generational differences. We're going to tell you what a geriatric millennial really is. And then we actually interview some Gen Zers and we analyze all of that. So head to talk40tomepodcast.com. Erin is episode 2 and episode 7. You're going to love it. And as always, Erin, you are
amazing.
We love
and
you.
We want to have you in our pocket at all times.
The pleasure is always mine, ladies. You're giving the world of women at 40 and over, and maybe some men, a gift. So thank you.
We hope so. Thank you, Erin, for being a part of this journey with us. And we hope you guys enjoyed our little mini segment with Erin. And as Angelina said, tune into Talk 40 to Me. We do an episode every Thursday, and we have several live right now. So we would love for you guys to listen. Thanks so much, Erin, for joining. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a good one.
Cheers.